Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. We are back for another week of pro action. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, joined by PN Motorsport, Phil Raiden in the box. Good evening, Phil. How are we? And are we looking forward to this exciting night's worth of racing?
Well, good evening, Matt. Well, I'm hoping it's cleaner than Pro-Am was last night. Jeez, I watched that and it was chaos.
Now,
word.
Go on.
One word, chaos.
Chaos, indeed it was. Now, we will run through the result of last night's race. It was Max Mulder who took the race win from Tim Ventick. Max also got the fastest lap. Third place was Richie Michel. Fourth for John Gooday. Fifth for Justin Winter. Sixth place in the race was that of Robert Smith. Seventh place went the way of Diz. P8 went to Paul Williams. Ninth place, now I am reading this not in order. Ninth place went the way of the Jackal. Obviously, this is based off our spreadsheet because we don't have the log file for SimGrid. 10th place was Hansen. 11th place went the way of Darren Bell. 12th. Trying to find all these numbers is confusing. 12th went the way of Michael. 13th then went the way of Graham. 14th went the way of Cranky Duckhead. 15th went the way of, and I was told that me and Dan have mispronunciated this all season, went the way of Naval Gomez, not Naval. Thanks, Mike, for the correction there. Mike from the Royal Navy, not the Royal Navy. Kieran Argent, 16th place for him. 17th place went the way of Diego Flores. P18 went to Bjork Lund. P19 went the way of Brian Craig. P24 S2M Borough Becks. 21 went to DJ Phil Green. 22nd for Dean Wasocki. 23rd went the way of John Andrews. 24th for Senna, and Mark Tucker rounding out the race. That was the race results last night, and it has had a few implications on the championship. But PN, we have the championship battle still raging on tonight, and we have a few new drivers as well out there on the grid. Fuchs is finally with us for the start of his run. No team name on the stream. We'll get that one sorted for next week. He is running the Effect Motorsport 2 car alongside Joseph, who sadly couldn't be here tonight. He's at work. Doesn't normally work a Thursday, but he's on overtime. They are the Effect Motorsport 2, running the Ferrari and the Lamborghini. We then have another new driver in Kevin Stein. Now, many of you may notice Kevin Stein from the endurance event, racing with Green Wolfinator in the JWB Racing eSports car. He is also with us. And then Cruiser is in the Lamborghini. He is an independent and was going to be put down as Effect Motorsport 3. But because of the fact that there is, he's just an independent, we decided, no, we'll leave that one without a name so that there's not too many Effect Motorsports on the grid. So PN, they are the new drivers. They are the new competitors going through tonight's grid. This is Toth Saber. In the Ford Mustang, in the hands of Naval Gomez and that of Kieran Argent, didn't look massively strong compared to Paul Ricard, did it, last night?
Well, there's no straights here. Let's face it. The straightest part is the start-finish line, and then it starts turning left, listing slightly lazily to the left before the hairpin.
And one car that we saw was going to really do well tonight is that of the Lamborghini. Just watching Mike Matthews go round the circuit now. 26 kilograms in ballast for the BOP would be for the Lamborghini, really showing how dominant that car should be here tonight.
Yeah, well.
Oh, as we've lost
Dan's
a
in
driver.
fourth. We have lost a driver already. Don't tell me we've had more server issues, because it's been the only race we didn't really have server issues was GT4s.
Yeah, GT4s. While we wait then, so we are now 4 drivers short. PN, you just kind of look into who has gone. Championship standings left. That's championship standings at the moment in this series. Dan Davis, 89 points clear of that, then of Jamal Cloud and Michael Harris in third. Overtaker into P4. He's not yet done a lap time tonight, PN.
Oh, we lost another one.
And we have lost another one.
Here we go again.
So we'll run through the championship order just quickly. RB Racing's P5, Gary Leach is 6th, Guy Sundermeyer is 7th, Naval Gomez, P8, sorry, Naval Insert Coin P8, Mike Matthews P9, Tobias Hoffer P10, Nikita's 11th from Ian Gray, Michael Eckholt, Ben, Pacina, Burton, Flem Speed 1, O'Reilly, Newman, Saber, Ramey, Kyle, Mitrov Cannon, Joe Bates, T. King, Gary Clarball, Simon Fuchs, Sullivan, Stein, Zandberger, Cruiser, and then Joseph. Now, one driver is back in.
That's Gary.
That is only Gary, so that's Gary coming in. Not sure still then who has gone. So let's go through the list of drivers that is confirmed for tonight so we can tell you who we are expecting. So Mitra Cannon wasn't in. Ben is still there. Mike Matthews is there. We're on board him. Dan Davis was the next one to confirm. He's there. Jamal Clouden is there. He's P10 at the moment. Sorry. Skeletor, T. King. He's 14th. He's still there. RB Racing. He's second. He's still there. Saber is not there. So is he one that has gone? Michael Harris.
Harris is there still. He's at 7.
Is there, yep. Michael Eckholt is third. Yeah, Sky Schundelmeyer is P1 as we lose again. Another drive. No, we haven't. Sorry, still kept the drivers. Michael Eckholt is in. Sky Schundelmeyer is P1. Jamal Clouden, as we've just said, is P10 at the moment. Insert Coin in his Honda. He is down the order. Yep, he's there. Gary Leach has just come in. Tobias Hoffer, he is not in.
He is in.
Is he?
In. Yep, 13th.
He is in 13th. Apologies. Joe Bates is in. He's down. He's up in 4th.
He's up in 4th. So.
Dennis Newman, he is in. Fuchs, P6. Stein. Stein's one of the drivers gone. Yeah. Cruiser is P15, and then Pacina not yet in. So it is Stein, Pacina, Mitrov Cannon. Stein's just got back in the lobby, so it's Mitrov Cannon, Pacina to take us to 21. So there's one other driver that we are missing at the moment. Did we say Ian Gray? It is Ian Gray. Ian Gray is... No, Gray's 12th.
Gray's there, he's 12th.
So Mike, Dan, King. Yep. RB, Saber is the third driver. So Saber, Mitrov Cannon, and Pacina.
Yeah. Let's have a look at chat. As we say, afternoon to Hypertech. Fat Bloke, myself, Dennis Newman, Ian Gray, and a blast from a blast, Louis Allen. I will be back soon. I miss racing with you. We miss having you, Louis Allen, former Pro-Am champion. That to me sounds like a PS5 or an Xbox might be imminent, PN. That does, yeah. And even from Fury's granddad as well, he's watching from work.
Oh, well, you are at work tonight, Tony. Oh, I didn't realise you was at work. That must have been a late text message.
So, Louis. And Naval Gomez, I didn't say him. Another Naval guy, Sammy, also there. Gary Clarball. And Pete Williams. I was just scrolling through the chat on my phone. Now, as we say, good evening to you guys. Remember to like them.
Like and subscribe was what PM was going to say there before he went a little quiet. There we go. He's back now. There we go. Your voice just came through there at the very end. Just trying to find another car on track. So Stein's back in. We're up to 19. Still then 3 drivers missing, obviously, at the moment. So I don't know if that was lobby problems or what. But insert Coin and Overtaker, PN. If we go to the timetable with 5 minutes left of practice, they are yet to take to the track. Now, we know from... It won't in this first race, and it will go back to green 1:45 in the morning. Jeez, Tony, I'd have told them where they could stuff it after the day you've had.
Mitch Buchanan's now in.
Mitch Buchanan's now in. Brilliant. So that's up to 20 drivers. Saber they've got a storm in Hungary, and I've seen some of the weather in Hungary at the moment, PN, for the Grand Prix this weekend.
I'm not surprised.
It is
How
bad.
hot it was.
Yeah, he's not sure if he'll be able to come back into the race because of the storm. It has knocked his power. Fair enough then, Saber, so that explains that one. But yeah, Overtaker and Insert Coin not yet gone out on the circuit. We see that Overtaker waits really for the track to get Saber is back. Brilliant. We know that Overtaker likes to wait for the track to go to Optimum.
Oh,
it's not really going to though, is it?
Yeah, you said that, and Overtaker's now moving.
There we go then. There we
I think
go.
he must have heard us say it won't go to optimum. Maybe in the race, but it ain't going to.
Not in race one.
Practice
I don't think it will in race one. It didn't last night, and it goes back to green. It'll probably go optimum for the hour race. It didn't go optimum for us all night on Monday night. And Insert Coins now decided to leave. He's probably been listening to us as well. Gary Leach out there on the circuit. That's a sausage curb. That's a bit of a wiggle. But in Gary fashion, he'd have been upping and ahhing and making the moment sound a lot bigger than what he does. He's quite good at that.
What would the words be? Oh, something, wouldn't it? Unbroadcastable on this channel.
Yeah.
Well, apart from when I let slip occasionally. But that's because I'm not a pro commentator.
Why, who is?
You. Dan. Not me.
So we're watching Gary 131. Gary Leach, as he is known, 2.6 off the pace, half second off the back of Toth Sabru, straight back out there onto the circuit. And the interesting one for me, Sky Schundelmeyer. He's in a bit of form, isn't he? Great week at Paul Ricard. Great night in the GT4s. Quickest at the moment. Sky's having a few fantastic, from Paul Ricard last week through to now. He's having a good run of a good stretch at the moment, isn't he? And they got third place in the endurance, did him and Max Mulder.
Yeah, he's had it's not a bad little run, is it?
So what's that? Third place in the endurance. He won race one and got second GT4s. Last week, he got a second and seventh. That's not a bad bit of form, that isn't, is it? At all.
That's how you do it, isn't it, really?
And if he wants to sort of climb up this order in the championship, where is he in the championship? He's currently sat seventh, but 113 points on offer for the day. This is kind of how you need to do it. As Joe, it's tight though, isn't it? Look at that, 9/10 separating the top 10. That's tight. That is super tight.
It is super tight. As I said, hopefully, touch wood. Everything in here is made of wood now. It'll be a little bit cleaner than Pro-Am last night.
If you missed Pro-Am, go and check it out. It was an interesting race. After you've watched this stream, of course. It was an interesting race. It was an interesting sort of night of action. And yeah, it really is going to set up... Go on, sorry.
Didn't Dan lay about 5 eggs because he was laughing so much?
There was times where it was just hilarious. There was times where, honestly, it was just at times comedy gold, and absolutely brilliant. Either way, Fuchs, because he's been entered into the championship, even though this is his first night, he's dropped score 0 because of this.
Yeah, you can't get any lower than 0.
You can't get any lower than 0, but for him, that is huge, isn't it? In terms of then that result, as it is, drop score of 0. Whatever he scores now for the rest of the season, even if he has a bad round, it isn't going to be his drop score.
No, because you can't get any lower than 0, unless you do minus points. But yeah,
you're there if you've had 3 retirements.
Well, yeah.
Who's close to 3 retirements, actually? No, I'll not respond to the stewards. That'll knock a few points off. Who is close to retirements? Because we always seem to get one. We had Joe the other season. Right, let's have a look. So, warnings, penalties, retirements. Mirko's had 2 and Dennis has had 2. Dennis has had 2 in GT4. Sorry, Smoky Devils also had 2. And Zodiac Piscina's had 2 as well. Dennis has only actually had the 1 in GT4 3, 2 in GT4. So Dennis nearly minus 25 in GT4. Mirko, Richie, Smoky Devil and Piscina nearly minus 25 in GT3. So there we go. If you're wondering why Smoky Devil isn't racing tonight, he's on a week ban. So will not be racing in this one tonight. So there we go.
As we got 21 off the lead. We're only missing one person, aren't we?
Just Piscina now. Just the other Ford Mustang, as Gary has a bit of a moment. But the checkered flag comes out and drivers are going to start to take to the line. And it is going to be that of Toth Saab. We may even see an overtaker lap time here. In fact, he's actually already set a lap time. Where is he? 13th. Not really the pace we're seeing from overtaker at the moment that we're used to.
No, as we was invalid and we move straight to the race.
We do, and without Pacina being here, that's going to hopefully have not glitched the grid out a little bit. But hey, let's see what happens.
So, it's the new guys at the front. 2 of them.
Yep, no more new drivers starting from the back. That was a thing of last season, wasn't it? They all now start at the front. So it's good. Phil, who you tipping for the race win?
P5.
Joe Bates. Yeah, do you know what? I think you might be onto something there, yeah.
Yeah, because this is not an easy track to overtake on at the best of times. Because offline it's dirty and everything, as even my TV's a bit loud. I don't know if that came through.
No, I didn't hear anything.
I have got my fans on as well because it's got a bit, what's the word? Warm.
It's ridiculously hot at the moment, isn't it? Jeez. It's crazy hot at the moment. It's been, and tomorrow's meant to be even worse.
Tomorrow my aircon will be on, so I won't hear nothing. As that would be shouting. But at least that'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Beasley's missed the start.
So Richard Beasley then will not take to the start of this race. That is a shame for the Constructors' Championships. We forgot to read them out. So while the drivers get underway, it is SimPlay Racing 5 points clear of Team FBR. So that is huge for Team FBR. Quantum Apex are further back from the Greasy Bandits Racing. Jaeger Motorsport P5 with GK P6. Effect Motorsport P7. BSP Racing Independent P8. FSO Racing Team P9. Smoky Racing Independent P11. And Vortal Racing Independent P12. Effect Motorsport obviously yet to score in this race.
Yeah, well,
and
actually, though,
sorry, go on.
Could be a good place for Beasley to start sometimes.
Yeah, I reckon you're potentially right there.
That might be the best place to be because you're not going to get burgled into every corner. But then again, though, sometimes this game glitches and you can't press drive until after the session goes green.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
great game. Yeah, good. How much longer are they going to support this one with Assetto Corsa Evo coming out?
I think this will still get plenty of support personally, because I think that Evo being a bit more like a Project Cars 2 game, this will still get that support that it needs.
Giant Software, who do Farming Simulator, are going to be publishing a sim racing game.
Now, question then. Is that the people who a couple of them come from Project Cars?
Yes, and it is called Project something Racing.
Well, make it like Project Cars 1 or 2. Don't make it like Project Cars 3. And we'll have a game where we've got a bit of better racing and hopefully ACC type graphics and physics. Either way.
And it'll only be current gen consoles and PC as well anyway, wouldn't it? So it's slated to come out this year, but we'll wait and see.
They're approaching the final corner now, PM. Both of us going with Joe to win. Freezy in the chat. Flow Cruiser, my mate, nice bro, win the race for me. What's happened to RB's missed the start, Paul? Good evening to Peterborough Stepdad. And Echo says the 1% Outlaws Motorcycle Club to win this race. Well, it's a Lamborghini from Ferrari. And there are 3 new drivers to take to this front row. Who is going to be the one to get the better start? As for round 13 of the season, we are green and go here at Laguna Seca for race 1 of the evening. It's a good start from everybody on the front row. It is already Cruiser who's got ahead of Kevin Stein, with Fuchs looking up the inside into turn 1. He might even look up the inside of Cruiser as well. He does so. Joe Bates is attacking at the moment. excuse me, at the inside of Stein, and that is Cruiser just tripping a wheel onto the grass then, as he's now coming under pressure from Joe Bates around the outside, and that was Kevin Stein looking around the outside as well. The Mustang having a great little start and a good little battle already, as through the first set they come. It is Fuchs from Joe Bates, and we tip Joe Bates to get a good launch, and indeed he's just done that. Insert coin, a terrible start for him. He's way down the pack at the moment. Obviously Richard Beasley down there through starting in the pit lane. So Joe Bates losing out to Fuchs, then it's Cruiser. Kevin Stein going side by side with Toth Saber up in the Mustang. Coming up the hill, Dave Mitrovicanen is just behind King, as Toth still attacking the back of Stein in towards the corkscrew for the first time then. And nobody coming through at the moment. Who's that going side by side? That's Gary Leach who's round! So Gary Leach drops the rear of the car. Dan Davis hasn't really had the start he wanted. He's not come through the pack. Eckholt is badly damaged, so he's got some damage to his car. Not sure why. Insert coin, and then Richard Beasley at the back. But Gary Leach dropping the rear of the car all on his own and tumbles down the order. But Joe Bates and Fuchs and Joe Bates getting away really well. Cruzier though is sticking to the Kevin Stein is sticking to the back of Cruzier Pian like glue at the moment, and great start from the pros.
It is, but, well, it is obviously some contact somewhere, but we don't see it because some of the camera angles in this game are terrible. Not as bad as some of them were in Project Cars 2 at times, but yeah, well, it looked a bit cleaner than Pro-Am was last night.
20-minute race, obviously the pit window will open a little later on in the race. So this is going to be an interesting one to see. And who's that? It was a Porsche who was round, and I believe it was Mitrovicanen who was bounced off the wall. There's also now a McLaren off.
Clouden.
I believe that was Clouden, who rejoins behind. That is Dan Davis. Mike Matthews is up to 12th place. He's side by side currently with Ian Gray. Going to look up the inside into the left hand, and Mike backs out of that one, thinks better of it. Both run a little wide, and here comes the M4 of Michael Harris. 3 wide towards the corkscrew. Who's braving it out the best? Michael Harris. Does he get it up the inside? Straight across into the wall. That was a huge incident for the Team FPR BMW.
That's not how you take the corkscrew, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and that car does not want to steer.
Tobias Hoffer coming into the pits already. Where is Michael Harris? Let's look at this damage. It was on. Oh, yeah, that has got bad damage on the front. So just Tobias Hoffer will not be surprised. Gary Leach coming in. Harris is coming in. RB stays out. Who's out at the back? Mitrovicanen. Surprised he's not brought that Porsche in.
Beasley stays out.
Trying to squash that like Herbie the Love Bug, but Kevin Stein. Oh, wiggle! Tapped around!
Oh,
Cruiser tapped around by Kevin Stein, and he has to wait there for the traffic to come through. Oh! Overtaker and Dan just narrowly missing out there. So a few little taps. Very wide eyes. Ben's coming under pressure from Dennis Newman, who looks like he's having a better start to this race than what he had at Paul Ricard last week. And I think, Paul, he was doing a little bit more than 88 miles per hour around coming up to the corkscrew there. But what a start to this race. There is Stein, King, Ben, Dennis Newman, Mike Matthews from Sky Shundlemeyer. These two are coming up to the corkscrew now. And Mike is the trolley train at the minute. Clouden's dropped in on his own at the corkscrew.
He's not hit nothing though, so that's a plus sign. Yeah, I can't see any damage on his McLaren.
No, but I can't see who he's just ahead of. It is Insert Coin and Michael Eckholt, who are both suffering with a bit of damage, and Eckholt straight into the pits. Already. Dan Davis wants out that traffic to do with Mike Matthews, and we saw that master strategy pulled last week. He wants nothing to do with this. Tobias Hoffer, Gary Leach done, Michael Harris now a lap down, just exiting the pit lane, PN. And wow, that was a huge incident from Michael Harris. And yeah, what a shame for him, because he was going great guns. But Toth Saber now holding up overtake, while Mike Matthews has got the rapid Sky Shundlemeyer behind him at the moment.
Yes, and you can't be brave to overtake it. And Joe's within a second of Fuchs for the lead.
He's also got the fastest lap now for Joe, side by side with King. So what has happened? He's no longer 9/10 of a second. Where is Stein? Stein is up the roads. Joe Bates has lost out now to King. King's on the podium. Joe drops to 4th. They've got Ben and Newman coming with them as well. Then it's Mike, and that's Saba. Saba round. Huge slide, keeps it off the track. Yes, he does, but loses out to Clouden and Insert Coin. And then Cruiser is going to come past Richard Beasley sideways through the left-hander.
Oh, Saba's off the road.
Just said that.
Yeah, did he lose it there?
I think he's dropped it on his own. Yeah.
Yeah, probably caught the exit curb and then dipped the wheel in the gravel, spits the car into the shadow realm.
Joe Bates back ahead of King. That is up the order as they come across the line. Take it in, as is Jamal Clouden. Then Mitrovic Cannon still in the pits. Eckholt's only just leaving. He's gone a lap down. Cruzier comes in as well. What about Richard Beasley? He carries on his way. Toth Saba does as well. Dan Davis, by the way, got ahead comfortably of Tobias Hoffer and Gary Leach. Eckholt's only just coming out the pits. Michael Harris has passed him. And Harris, Dan's mate, one of Dan's main championship rivals, having a stinker in race 1. But there is a gaggle of cars. I say a gaggle, actually Ben and Dennis Newman have dropped off the back. Dennis Newman side by side with Ben, looking to the outside line now, Pien. Coming up the hill they come, and Newman's going to tuck him behind and wait. Sky Schundelmeyer's past Mike, so no longer the cork in the road is Mike Matthews.
No, does Dan jump Overtaker? Dan's now coming down the start-finish straight. Overtaker is on now off the limiter, and Dan's going to have the faster run because the spot is tight.
I think Dan's already done it. Car 12. Who is that? 512. It is 512. It's Stein at the corkscrew.
He's dropped at the corkscrew now. So it looked like Dan has jumped Overtaker in the pits.
Yeah, he has done. Dan pulling that master strategy once again. Mike's on the back. Mike's in fact. So getting rid of that traffic coming into the pit. Sky Schundelmeyer's now on the back of Dennis Newman. So Stein dropping from second. That promotes Joe Bates up the order, and Stein's on just ahead of Harris. Harris obviously a lap down at the moment, and for a pit stop around here you lose 68% of the lap. That is with a tyre change, so maybe you lose 66%, 65% without the tyre change.
Saba's hit the wall. I can see the engine nearly on his I would pit. Why are you? I would pit and fix that. And he's just gone past the pit lane. He
has just gone past the pit lane. Only he'll know what he's doing. Dennis Newman now has got a very fast Sky Schundelmeyer right up his rear wing. Joe now 10 seconds behind Fuchs. Is he going to be the man on debut to take his first ever race win here at SimPlay Motorsport? But it's Dennis Newman with Sky Schundelmeyer right behind him.
Mike's off the limiter. Dan's passed. Taker's passed.
Not surprised. Clouden. I don't think Clouden's going to get past him.
No, Clouden.
No, Clouden's not going to get past him. So Mike loses 2 places.
I believe that's called.
But I think it is, yeah. But Clouden does not get ahead of Mike Matthews there. As Gary Leach on the back of Cruiser, then one of the new drivers. Ben's been off. Ben's been off at the final corner. He's gone wide. He's coming to the pit lane now. So Ben is in. And who's that wide in the background? That is Ian Gray. Insert Coin's going to sneak up the inside. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots.
Tibbs is moving on Newman into, and I believe it is
Andretti. Yeah, I believe it is. And Sky Schundelmeyer up the inside of Dennis Newman then, and that is job done. And now they're not far off the back actually of King either, who started to lose out to Joe. Joe's gained ground over Fuchs up front.
Yep.
And going great guns. Overtakers within 0.4 of a second of Dan, though. That gap actually looks a little bit bigger at the moment.
A little bigger than that.
It does look bigger than 0.4, so I reckon we're going to see that over the line. Fuchs is crazy, says Rene. Indeed, he is crazy good at the moment. Gary Leach trying to hunt down Cruiser. 0.5 second is the gap. Eckholt's 0.3 off the back of Michael Harris. He's pushing Michael Harris along here. And Ben tumbling down the order now has been jumped by Dan and Overtaker and Mike and Jamal. To Ben having a long stop. There goes Tobias Hoffer. Where is Cruiser? And Gary not near the final corner. And Gary, wise old fox, has a bit of a wiggle and could do nothing about it. Schundelmeyer now looking on the back of King. He looks racy today. And these two come in, King and Schundelmeyer and Dennis Newman. What about insert coin? He stays out. Gray is going to choose for the box. What about then Kevin Stein? Is he going to pit or stay out? Michael Harris trying to unlap himself from Kevin Stein. Richard Beasley stays out as well. And Toth Sabat, that is a disconnection, but that could be due to the storm.
It could be power still. If you haven't got power...
There was no yellow flag on the circuit, so he's not pulled over anywhere to leave. So that, for me, could well be a power cut. Good evening to Fury's mum, Laura, in the chat. Gary Clarble as well. Hope you're feeling better, Gary. Hope the elbow's coming along nicely. Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
I'll keep an eye where the number 1 is. Joe's car's been lowered. He's away.
Yeah, Dan's quite a way back from Joe, though, isn't he? He's coming around the final corner. Oh, no, he's not that far back. I think Joe should get this. This one will be tight.
Now. Oh, I think Dan's got it.
I think Dan's got it, yeah. Joe should come out ahead of Overtaker. Maybe not.
No.
Definitely ahead of Dennis Newman, who's lost out to Mike Matthews. And Joe rounding the first bend. Loses out to Dan and Taker. Cloudon's got past Mike somewhere. And Mike and Cloudon get past Dennis Newman. So Joe's tactic there didn't work. Little twitch for Joe out the pits. Fuchs will be the only one to jump over Taker and Dan at the minute. Good early stop for them two, getting out the traffic. And if Joe hadn't made his mistake, Pien, he'd have been ahead of them two on the circuit.
Beasley's now in.
So Richard Beasley into the pit lane then.
So just these Fuchs and Stein to pit. And Naval, insert coin.
And this is Fuchs all on his own. Taker still 8/10 off the back of Dan. Has a bit of a wiggle through the corkscrew though down the order. Sky Schundelmeyer come out behind Ian Gray. So he lost a lot of time in the pits, did Sky Schundelmeyer, because he was passed ahead of Mike Matthews. He's come out behind Mike Matthews, and King, who was well in front, he's come out way behind King as well. So not the pit stop for Sky Schundelmeyer after motoring on in this race.
No, was that a tyre change, perhaps? Same with Joe?
Joe, I don't think so. Joe, I think that is just Gary and Overtaker's pace. But Tibbs, possibly Dan and Overtaker's pace. But Sky Schundelmeyer, he's got past Ian Gray now, though. Gary's lost out a lot of time to Cruiser. Overtaker's getting a bit closer to Dan, and they're dropping Joe at the moment. So Joe will be fastest lap. He's able to keep going. But they're just dropping them ever so slightly. Fuchs into the pit lane then. So this is going to be the one to see
Coins in.
Where they are. Insert coin in as well. They've still got a couple of laps to go. What about Stein? Will he pit? Obviously got to come in for that mandatory pit stop of fuel.
No, Stein stays out.
And Taker getting closer to the back of Dan. Gained a 10th through Sector 1. What's it going to be through Sector 2 as they come up to it now? Has Dan managed to extend any? Yes, 2/10. So ebbing and flowing between these two teammates. M6 versus M4. Dennis Newman catching that of Tobias Hoffer. And Gary's back within 6/10 then of Cruiser here. Please show more of Fuchs. We'll show as much as we can. He's just coming out the pit lane now. And look at that, Dan Davis only at the final corner as Fuchs is off of the pit limiter. We obviously want to catch as much of the action as possible here. And it looks like Taker's possibly losing out in that middle sector, PM, because it's 9/10 now. What's it going to be through the final sector? Stays at 9/10. So he looks like he gains through the first sector, loses in the second, and matches Dan in the third. That seems to be the way it's going at the moment.
Cloudon now fastest lap, though. Coins plummeting down after his late pit stop. Just leaves Stein left to pit.
Oh, something's happened to Cruiser. He's dropped well off the back of Gary Leach there. So not sure what's happened there. And again, look, Pien, through Sector 1, Taker takes 3/10 out of Dan.
Yeah, has Cruiser dropped it in the gravel, perhaps?
Possibly. So easily done around here. Joe's 1.4 behind Overtaker. This is where Dan seems to stretch the legs. Stein into the pits.
Track's still only fast. So...
And again, look, there you go, look. 2.5 lost to Overtaker by Dan. So Dan able to just pull away. Although, has he made a mistake through the corkscrew? Because that looks a lot closer than 9/10 now, PN.
That's definitely not 9/10 of a second. That's about 2/10 of a second.
5 minutes left in this race, down towards the final corner. Joe's got nothing to catch up with these two. Cloudon's trying to hunt down after Joe. Fuchs takes back hold of that race lead. Stein still in that pit lane. This is going to put Dan possibly on the podium and Overtaker with him. And Joe Bates will go through up to P4, but it's half a second now, and Taker seems to have a good first sector over Dan. So Dan maybe a little moment through the corkscrew on the last lap, and this is where Overtaker can really gain.
Yeah, but of course, catching's one thing, passing is another.
Indeed, it is.
The late, great Murray Walker once said.
So here comes Dan Davis at the moment, through turn 4 with Overtaker. That gap's still at half a second. Dan just touched the dirt a little bit there, just kicked a bit of dirt up.
He's throwing grit into Overtaker's eyes, isn't he? All the distractions.
Trying to blind him. Who's that just tumbled down the order a little bit? I think it's Stein coming out P11 through sector 1. So Stein's behind Richard Beasley, ahead of Sky Schundelmeyer though. So Sky's got a bit of work to do. And Taker again, look, has lost a tenth and a half through that middle sector. But Dan had a moment through here last time compared to Taker.
Joe would be sitting there hoping they tangle.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh, Taker's on the grass now.
Yeah, Joe kicked up a bit of dirt as well, so Taker just trying to push the car as much as he can. Joe's got within a second, and Cloudon's coming as well, so a bit of a train forming behind Dan here.
It's a bit of a Davis train. Yeah, I went there. A Lambo train.
There you go, Joe's within a second, Overtaker's within half a second. Cloudon's 1.1 back. Mike's still a bit way further back though, but to tell you what a debut this has been for Fuchs.
It has, and not bad. At least it's in a Ferrari. He says with a smile on his face.
He does. I think Joe's just had a moment, just as we changed back to Joe. He was in the middle of the road there, so I don't know if he's just clipped the gravel and, you know, had a bit of a correction on the rear. And
everything is lava on the outside of the circuit.
You don't want to touch anything. You don't want to go over the curbs. You don't want to touch anything. But for Taker here as well, look, back on the rear of Dan, but he loses through this middle sector. They're surely not going to, you know, he's not close enough to have a look at the corkscrew, surely. He's not crazy enough either.
It would be a big one because your car is unsettled. Because
he's got close to the back of Dan. Joe lost a couple of tenths through that mistake early on, but with these two now getting close, this is going to be interesting to see. Pit window's closed from race control. It's going to drop down a second back to King because Ben's got ahead of him. So is Insert Coin and Sky Schundelmeyer. Schundelmeyer's on the back of Stein. Right on the back of him. So Sky up to 11th. Not seen Tracy in the chat yet. Or the BSP team as Sky taps the sausage curb. Unsettles the car. Back to Overtaker and Dan. Dan managed to just gap him slightly.
Yeah, it is definitely ebbing and flowing between 8-time champ and
one-time champ.
One-time.
There's Tracy in the chat. Just as we turn back to Stein and Sky now. Is Sky going to pull out and have a look? Yes, he is. To the outside line. Going to cut back, brake later up the inside. No, not going to get it done there. Can he keep that tighter line than Stein, though? Sky Schundelmeyer does. Great bit of racing from Sky. And does he get the place done? Yes, he does.
Meanwhile, Taker's back on the rear of Dan.
And what's happened to Cloudon? He's dropped off the back of Joe.
He kicked the grass around wide.
There we go then.
Because I just saw that watching from the Davis take Joe. Joe's getting back on him now as well.
Dan will want Joe on Overtaker as well.
Yeah, but BMW fills the mirrors quite nicely.
He'll just want that pressure on him.
They are, all three of these are gaining on race leader though. There's no under 7 seconds.
Paul Williams saying that
too late.
Yeah, a bit too late. Paul Williams saying that RB hasn't fared too badly. He's not, considering he started from the pit lane. He's P9.
He's P9 and it's probably the cleanest lap one he's ever had.
Yeah.
There was no one
yeah, exactly.
Because there was no one to hit him.
So, last lap of the race. Fuchs is coming through turn 4. Just going to drop down the order again. Insert Coins now on the back of Stein. Harris trying to get on the back of Cruiser with Michael Eccles.
Joe's lost the rear.
Joe's lost the rear. Into the wall did he go, Peony?
Yeah, into the wall. He's lost place to Cloudon. And he's probably going to lose out to Mike as well. Here comes Mike now.
Badly damaged front end on that BMW.
Yeah, that's got to be a bit of a pig now to drive. Mike's having a look. Yeah, as we better turn our attention to
We are
Fuchs.
turning our attention to Fuchs. It's been a great opening race for this man, making his debut tonight, and what a debut it's going to be. It's going to be the race win, and you have to say, in fantastic fashion. Dan's just in the background 6 seconds behind, but what a day for Fuchs it's going to be. Yes, it was the sprint race, but it's going to be a race win for Fuchs. Dan Davis just going to come to the line and take that P2 from overtaker P3. Clouden, 4th place and potentially the fastest lap of the race. And then we have a bit of a long wait back to Mike Matthews and Joe Bates. And Joe is just going to hang on in there over Mike Matthews for P5 and 6. Tobias Hoffer, P7. What a drive in the M6.
That's a contender for driver of the day already.
Dennis Newman comes across the line, P8. Good result for him. P9 for Richard Beasley there then. P10 for Schundelmeyer, which is going to drop back to the fight between Cruiser and Eccles. In fact, Eccles has got past, so that's a good job for him. Gary Leach has crossed the line, 15th place. Ian Gray crossed the line in P16. Michael Harris down in 17th place. Unlucky for him. Mitchell Cannon is the one still going at the moment. Sky Schundelmeyer across the line, P10. Insert Coin, 12th place for the Honda. Not too bad. Saber, disconnection due to the storm. Mitchell Cannon, P20. Ben got the line, 13th place. Stein crossed in P11. Great result for him on his debut in the GT3s. Eccles, not his best race, down in 18th place. King, where was King? 14th and not too bad. And then Cruiser down in 19th, not the debut he would have wanted. But we are going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back with race 2 in a moment. Don't go anywhere, because you are not going to want to miss this.
Is it working?
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. Back here for your qualifying session. The first car on the circuit is that of Sky Schundelmeyer, who is out there on the track at the moment. Apologies for the slight delay and the fact you've missed the opening off qualifying there. Was currently occupied on the toilet. But it was a great first race. It was a great opener to the race. Just realised that I can't hear anything on my headset, so I don't know if anything's being said by Phil or anything. But I can't hear any cars. Nothing. There we go. I've got cars back. Phil, are you actually there?
No, I'm not here.
No, he's not here at all. So my headset decided to go off. But it was a great opener. I'm sat here talking to myself, thinking, hang on, there's no cars. Never mind, Phil. It was a great opener to the night, though. It's a great opener to the night, though, PM1T. It was a real good race.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Harris decided he was going to go to the Shadow Realm at Corkscrew, and that ended well.
Yeah, he said he clipped the gravel on the grass and there was no saving it. Tibbs has just
Power
gone off. Oh, on the first flying lap there. High life, that is Stein. So he has got a power failure at home. So that's another one down. That's possibly why he's gone.
Yeah, no electricity. PlayStations need, or Xboxes need electricity.
Yeah, they do. So there's no wonder he's possibly gone out of the lobby at the moment.
Whereabouts is he? Is he
German or Austrian? That way on, I do believe. Either way, qualifying, it's Insert Coin who's going to set the first flying lap then of this race. And we'll run through that championship order in just a few moments' time. Obviously, points up for grabs for everybody and points running out. We normally get into this stage of the season where we're going to start to see part of the standings go a little red, where the drivers can no longer win the championship battle, like the fact that McLaren have dominated once again the Manufacturers' Championship. We're going to be on board Ben, as Ben's going to come across the line. Overtaker goes a tenth quicker than Dan, and Ben to the line puts himself P3, car 33. That is Michael Eckholt before the 17 of Richard Beasley. Gary's back in the pits, not the start for Gary in this session. Michael Eckholt goes P3. Richard Beasley moves his way up to P3 now. Sorry, Pierre.
I just saw King go exit stage right in front of Overtaker.
Ben back into the pits. Here comes Joe Bates to the line, goes up to P5. Car behind him is the 323. That is Fuchs on debut. Goes up to P6 in his Ferrari. And the top five separated by 6/10 of a second. Next car on that valid lap is the 998 of Mitrovicanin, who had that big shunt in the first race, Pierre.
Yeah, didn't see him much since, really, because he just had a race to forget. Oh, he has dropped score.
No, I think his drop score is already 0. To the line comes Mitrovicanin, goes P6, so the Porsche's got a little pace. One of them, anyway. Dan's coming towards the line now. Looks like he's in a bit of traffic. That is Insert Coin right in front of him. The 196 of Cruiser has span at the corkscrew. Any improvement for the Honda? He goes up to 4th. Dan goes top of the timing screens out. But here comes the 14. What can Overtaker do? Goes back to top of the timing screens, and that was with the car spinning in front of him. The 21 of Tobias Hoffer. He stays P10. What about Mike Matthews? 1.7 off the pace. Any improvement on his time to go up the order? Moves up to P5. Great lap there from him. The 33 then of Michael Eckholt. Can he find any more time? Stays where he is. What about Harris, who was coming to the line? Not sure. 34 is now at the line. That is Michael Harris, who goes up to P8. And then we turn our attention to the 323. The 1-2... No, the 1-2-3's gone through. That is the 3-2-3. That is Fuchs, who moves up to 5th now. So time's improving. The 13... I can't keep up with these numbers. The 13 gets the time on the board. That is Dennis Newman. Next car on lap is the 1-2-3 of Insert Coin, as Dan is a little further back. So I wonder if Dan's bailed this lap.
It would have been wise to bail this lap, so you're not in the dirty air of the Honda.
It was something we saw last night, wasn't it, Phil, as well? The fact that we saw so many cars in the dirty air quite a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, it's not a very long circuit, really. It's no Spa, or even Paul Ricard. You had space, didn't you?
Insert Coin to the line. Currently P4 goes up into P3. 2/10 separating those at the top of the timing screens. Here comes Dan. No improvement. What about Overtaker? No improvement for him. The 21. That is... Tobias Hoffer goes ahead of his teammate. Where's Mike Matthews, who was down there on a lap? No improvement for Mike. 17 now. Why is it when you want to find the numbers you can't find them? Here is the car 17. Richard Beasley's the car on a lap before the 196. He goes top of the timing screens.
Ferrari's looking very handy around here.
Indeed. Indeed it is. Here comes Cruiser then. Stays 15th place at the moment. The 3-2-3. That is Fuchs, who's currently P8. Stays. P6 stays P6. The 1-3-1 of Gary Leach. What can he do in his Porsche? Mitchell Buchanan 1.4 off the pole. What can Gary do? Goes just behind. 1.6 off the pole. And we turn our attention once again to insert coin. 0.2 off the pole in a Honda.
In a Honda. It's a part of the international pack, and the Honda was quite good on the earlier versions of games around the international circuits.
So it's going to be interesting to see what the Honda can do for the rest of the evening. Here, though,
overtakers in the pits.
Comes insert coin. What is he going to do? No improvement. What about Dan? Needs that 10th. Finds a bit, and the smallest bit imaginable, and steers it into the wall. Ian Gray goes 14th. But was that a deliberate turn into the wall there from Dan? No, surely not. King goes 15th place. Car 17. I know he'd been struggling with his steering settings just before.
I think he gave it everything he had there.
Richard Beasley, no improvement. Car 10, that's Joe Bates. Only needs 0.2. Just 2 measly tenths. Not a lot when you think about it, but it's huge on the racetrack. Doesn't find any time. And then the 3-2-3 to the line. Fuchs finds a bit of time. What about Gary Leach? Is Rene still here? Which one is Rene? Dennis in the chat. As Gary Leach moves up to P10. Car 24 of Sky Schundelmeyer. Yet to get a lap time on the board, Phil.
Well, maybe now. Yeah, it could be now. His number's not blue.
No, goes P6. Great effort back to the Honda. 6 minutes left.
Put a lap in.
He did this on Monday. He didn't seem to get a lap time in straight away on Monday either for the GT4s. Here comes insert coin. No improvement. Ian Gray now, 2.1 off the pace at the moment. What can Ian Gray find in this second half of qualifying? Finds a little bit of time there. Car 21, that is Tobias Hoffer. 1.6. He's quicker than his teammate by a couple of tenths and improves that to P11. Ian Gray moved up to P12 there as well. Next car is the 196. That is Kreuzer.
Of which, GT4s. Check them out on Tuesday. Me and Matt will be on track.
Yeah. Couple more. Hypertech potentially. DJ Phil. Cruiser to the line, improves to P16. Now we turn our attention to the 36. That is Clouden. Yet to get a lap time on the board. He's going to come to the line now and goes P8.
He had to play some practice. So
131. Improves a 10th but stays 14th. What about the 140? That is Ben. Down in 19th. Ben looks like he's getting stronger and stronger, PM.
He does, yeah. As Dan's now started his flying lap. As has Taker. Gary's on another.
Ben to the line, goes up to 9th, 9 tenths off the back to the Honda. 9 tenths between the top 10 cars, just over a second between the top 11. What can the Honda do? Finds a bit of time, stays where he is though. What about then the 13 and the 34? The 34 of Harris goes up to P6 within 4 tenths. The 21 of Tobias Hoffer's next. 2 tenths, he's within a second.
He is, and that M6 has been quite impressive.
Finds a couple of hundreds. I've enjoyed seeing the M6 back out there. What's next? 3-2-3. That's Fuchs.
Fuchs in the Ferrari. It's a Ferrari.
Race 1 winner. Let's not forget.
He's got overtaker behind him.
Fuchs bails. Fuchs bails. Taker needs absolutely next to nothing. Dan's the next one on a lap behind. Good evening to Diz in the chat. Here comes Taker. Doesn't take anything. What about Dan Davis?
Here come Dan to the line.
No, nothing for Dan either. I've got a good line if Dan takes pole.
Oh, no.
Here comes Michael Eckholt. Needs a bit of time to get within a second. Goes P3 ahead of Dan. Look at the top four. Insert coin. Sorry, Ben goes up to 6th. Look at the top four.
Less than a 10th.
That is impressive. Richard Beasley, what do you have?
Top around the penultimate corner. He's
Bales.
backed off. I think he backed off to get some room. Sky's behind him on track.
Yeah, Sky's within half a second. Sky's looked quick today as well.
Confidence boosted with his race 1 win in GT4s on Tuesday.
Stays half a second behind. Where's Mike? 9/10 for Mike Matthews. Gets to the line. 7/10. Top 12 separated by 8/10 of a second. Here comes Joe. Can he find any more time? No, he doesn't. 36 is on a lap. We're going to turn to the 14. Who is the 36? That's Clouden. Clouden moves up to 5th. The top 5 are less than a 10th. Here comes Taker. He takes pole.
Dan's invalidated at the moment, so
it was the top 5 within a 10th of a second, but Overtaker spoils the party and puts it on the front row provisionally. What about the 33 of Eckholt? He moves. Oh, he's done the exact same time as Overtaker.
they're completely tied.
Holy moly!
Offers off at corkscrew.
Gray now to the line. The King, or T King. Next on a valid lap. And then it'll be Richard Beasley. Gary Leach back in the pits. No improvement for Ian Garay. What about King? Nope, stays 19th. What about Richard Beasley? Nothing.
Not yet, but he's not. He can go again.
Mitrovic Cannon. 13th. Sorry, PM.
He's got time to get 2 in as Beasley.
He has indeed.
They're doing what 122, so
top 13 separated by 9/10 of a second. Here comes Taker. Can he extend any more? Does he have any more in the tank? No, not this time. He doesn't. Turn to Dan Davis. Keep your eyes on Kreuzer down in 18th place. He's the next one to the line. Does he improve? No, he does not. What about Dan Davis? Oh, he goes pole! Yes. 2/10 of a second! Dan Davis goes provisional pole.
Keep on it because
it gets 1 lap left. 81 is the next man to finish a lap.
That is the 81 is T King for Vorta Racing.
Handmade in Cornwall. Dan Davis. Provisional pole in one of the most entertaining qualifying sessions you could watch. You know what else is handmade in Cornwall? Ginster's pasties. Absolutely spectacular things come from Cornwall as King moves up to 18th place, gets 1 more run in. Richard Beasley though got to the line. Nothing improved there. Mike Matthews can get to the line. Mitrovic Cannon goes to 12. Taker's bailed. Here comes Mike. Mike will get a run in. Everybody else is done. The 196 of Kreuzer will be the first man to finish a valid lap. Then Dan Davis. But Eckholt and Beasley are still out there. And are still going. Insert coin finishes his qualifying.
Beasley's not out there. Yes, he is.
Dan doesn't improve. Does not improve. What about Eckholt? Doesn't improve. Beasley's gone wide. That's game over for Richard Beasley. The 323 of Fuchs. Can he find 7/10? The 998 of Mitrovic Cannon. Can he find a second? Can Mike also find a second?
It is a very McDonald's colour car. It is. Come on. The red and yellow, that's McDonald's. And now I want a McDonald's. And I shouldn't. Effect Motorsport, sponsored by McDonald's.
Fuchs to the line, no improvement. Mitrovic Cannon to the line.
He doesn't. He goes 8.
Oh, he does go 8. Sorry, that must have updated a little later. Mitrovic Cannon improved. What about Mike Matthews? Any improvement from him? Stays 13th, improves on his time though. The top 13 separated by 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, so
that was absolutely, can we just say that was an unbelievable qualifying session right there.
Very, very close at times. But
wow.
Into the top 12 are still within a second. Mike's still within a second of him.
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. Dan Davis versus Overtaker on the front row. We've seen many of these battles.
We've seen this before. A lot of times.
I'm just stunned with that qualifying. What a session.
What a session.
What a session.
An hour-long race.
Anybody could have took pole in that session there.
Yeah. Anybody. That was so close.
Tip for the race win, PM?
Ooh. Who do I curse? Because I seemed to curse Joe last time. So, Who ain't gonna win? I think anyone within the top 10 easily could win.
30 seconds.
If they keep it clean and not go into the doldrums.
Just trying to update the stats page, apologies.
I think I'll probably go with...
20 seconds.
I always say Dan or Taker, so Eckholt.
I'm going to go BJ.
Yeah, because we always tend to say Dan or Taker. Tracy's still on Sky, of course.
Be rude not to, Tracy. Sky's been brilliant though tonight. To be fair, Sky's been really good again. Like we said in the practice PM, you know, he's been in since last week. He's been in the battles and around the top part of the grid since last Thursday.
Yes,
he's been really good.
In GT4s. Everyone loves GT4s. Oh, great fun. Don't have to worry about pitting. It's just like a touring car race. Check them out on Tuesdays here at SimPlay Motorsport.
Right. I've just Googled things. Right.
Oh no, he's used Google. Hang on, chat.
As glorious as their picturesque beaches, coastlines, and Cornish pasties, that qualifying of Dan's is one of the finest things to come from Cornwall that I have ever seen. The last time I saw something that good in qualifying was Suzuka, Dan Davis last year. And I said to Dan off air earlier, I have had, in my commentary career, probably some of my finest commentary moments talking on Dan Davis's races, because he always produces something special, memorable and magical. Many of them have been against Overtaker as well.
He just pulls something special when he needs to. That's why he's an 8-time champ here at SimPlay Motorsport, isn't it? Really?
Go back to like 2020 and 2019 Formula 1 and Lewis Hamilton would do the last lap of qualifying. And he's already got pole by a comfortable margin. And you think there's no way he's going to find more time. And he'll find like half a second. And you just hear like Crofty and Brundle just be like flabbergasted and stunned at where he found this time. And that's what Dan makes you do at times.
And then Lewis says that when Bono more tyres are gone, fastest lap.
Yeah. But when Crofty and Brundle commentate on Lewis doing them moments, that is the equivalent for me of Dan Davis, who comes up with moments like that.
Yeah.
And I know Mike will be listening to the stream, and I know Dan will be going, "Shut up, Matt." God, trying to concentrate. But it's true. It's just how, you know, I go through the history of SimPlay. I listen to my best commentary moments. I do this as a job. I've done it for Racing Unleashed many a times and for Apex. I think that Dan Davis has provided me some of my best quotes But either way, the man from Cornwall's got to do it in round 14 of the season as we, for the final time today, are green and go here at Laguna Seca, and it is a great start from the Lamborghini, but it's an even better start from Michael Eckholt, who's trying to squeeze between them, and Dan just creeps out of overtaker, now looking up the inside into turn 1. Beasley and Eckholt side by side with Clouden and Sky Schundelmeyer as well. Dan Davis is all through relatively cleanly at the moment. Don't see a spinner or a straggler anywhere, and it's Dan from Taker from Eckholt, with Richard Beasley coming under a bit of pressure from Clouden. Now Sky Schundelmeyer is going to have a look. That is Insert Coin coming through the pack. And Sky Schundelmeyer couldn't get anything done, but Eckholt's now attacking the back of Overtaker here, coming down into the left-hand bend, up the hill they come. This is where Overtaker seems to struggle, drives a little wide on the apex of the corner, misses it, tries to tuck back in. Eckholt is there, not there enough, backs out of that one, and Taker takes the corner pin. Great start from everybody.
It is so far relatively clean.
Whoa, Joe! Joe's in the wall, big moments on his own. Mike Matthews has had a spin as well. They've got to stay stationary for the pack to come around, and the pair of them. The Olympics start soon, and these two may as well qualify for the synchronised swimming in the Team GB, because that was absolutely picturesque. That is a car slow out of the corkscrew, and it was a BMW. But I cannot tell you which one. There they go. Look, they're trying to drive through the corkscrew side by side of Mike and Joe here.
Oh, Clouden's round at the final turn.
With Michael Harris.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw in the background Paul Williams, modern day Murray Walker, Nigel Mansell. Please, I'm James Hunt. Yeah.
It is Dan Davis from Overtaker, from Michael Eckholt, Richard Beasley, Sky Schundelmeyer, Ben from Fuchs, Insert Coin, Mitra Cannon, Tobias Hoffer, Gary Leach, Dennis Newman, Tobias, I think it's Travis, I'm sure it's Travis, don't know why I keep changing his name every week. King from Harris from Cruiser, Clouden, Ian Gray, then Joe Bates and Mike Matthews, who are still, look, these are still performing. This is their audition tape for the Olympics, it looks like. But already a great start out front. Fuchs putting the pressure on Ben early on here for Paul Williams to compare me to Murray Walker. Nowhere near Murray Walker level. I do cheer for Dan in the background, says Tracy. And a nice save from Sky. I reckon Mike's done his tyres.
I reckon so, yeah. I wish motorsport was part of the Olympics. It's still a sport, isn't it? And it's...
Here comes Schundelmeyer, Peony, sorry to cut in! And Beasley turns in!
And Sky was there. Sky was far enough alongside.
Where is Beasley? He's come back on just ahead of Mitra Cannon. Down in 8th, Sky was alongside. He had the inside lines. That is job done. Now Beasley going to look around the outside of Mitra Cannon. I think Mitra Cannon just missed the corner a little bit there. Beasley gets pushed out wide just a little. But a few battles happening. A good train of cars here. This is on the back of Cruiser. Clouden's going to look up the inside. Down towards turn 1 they come. Clouden, bit of damage on the front of his car.
Mike's now in front of Joe. But Joe is
Clouden through.
Wounded.
Yeah, and they've got a long wait till the pit window. Takers took the fastest lap from Dan.
Yeah. But these three have broke away by about 5 seconds.
They have. Through others making their own mistakes, they have broken away. We're watching as Harris has gone off in the background. We're watching Gary get close to the back of Tobias Hoffer with Dennis Newman gaining on him. Then you've got King in the background as well as Clouden. Richard Beasley just up front. This is on board the M6. And that is Newman having a little nibble at the back of Gary. Backs out of that one though. Ian Gray's off now in the background. How did he hold on to that? Michael Harris is going to come through, and Mike and Joe, they are trundling at the moment as Taker is close to Dan once again, and Eckholt trying to come with them.
Yes, he's sticking with his three, and it's a question of who pits first, who pits last.
Still 20 minutes till that pit window, or just under 20 minutes, should I say, till that pit window opens. Gary Leach is now passed with Dennis Newman, that of Tobias Hoffer, but Newman didn't get the best of runs out of the final corner, so they could carry on their merry way.
What did you say there, Matt? I've got to live with him long.
Some new door frames in your house, Mother Davis. As Clouden goes up the inside, King lets him go, to be fair, part of the Greasy Bandit stable.
This isn't bumper cars.
No, not bumper cars, but what this is There's some fantastic racing going on at the moment down the order. Then King, like we say, Cloudon's just got past him. He's now going to be chasing down Tobias Hoffer. Dan's opened that gap back up and has got fastest lap back. Fuchs still trying to get on the rear of Ben here. Ben's having a good race. Ben's starting to come better and better every week we see him.
He is, and well, he's still young, so he's got plenty of time.
He has got plenty of time. Dan Davis going for championship number 9. Ben looking.
Valentino on 2 wheels.
There we go. Be 2 better than Schumacher then. Well, Dan Davis.
No, different real.
Oh, this is real. This is as real as it gets. King's now on the back.
Crash a car in reality and tell me what happened. It hurts, and then it hurts for Waller quite hard.
Here comes Cloudon on the back now of Tobias Hoffer at the moment. I don't think the FBR driver's got the briefing before the race. Down the order they are at the moment. Cloudon's car looks a little battered. You're seeing scrapes all over the side and front of it.
Yeah, well, he was facing the wrong way at the end of the last lap. I don't know what happened. I'm sure there was contact, but the stewards will find out. Which would be fun.
Well, Cloudon's still trying to get close. Taker's got the gap back under a second to Dan. We're going back to Fuchs with Ben at the moment. Coming up towards the corkscrew now. Ben half a second in front. But these two just managing the gap at the moment. Let's drop down to Michael Harris. That gap's a little closer. Here it is, as Joe Bates is on the back of Mike Matthews as well.
Harris has looked damaged because his bonnet is flapping.
Yeah, I wonder if that's from the incident with Cloudon.
He's got the other McDonald's car in front of him.
And they aren't even teamed up.
And, well, we think Harris and Beasley are in golf liveries, aren't they? So, they're golf colours. But that's why we like motor racing, because...
Exactly. Cruiser defends the inside line over Michael Harris, and that continues on for another lap. Cloudon's now right on the back of Tobias Hoffer. Oh, he's crossed over the pit entry line there. Here's Jamal Cloudon.
Yeah, Overtaker is pushing hard. He's
and Ben's
taking the track.
Ben's pulled away from Fuchs. That's what's happening with Overtaker, Pam.
He's kicking up the dust everywhere. He's really pushing hard to try and get in front to catch up to the back of Dan.
Cloudon and Hoffer drop a wheel over the gravel. There's Harris with Cruiser. Ian Gray gaining on the back of them. Joe's got ahead of Mike. Then goes off onto the gravel. Has a big moment himself. That allows Mike back through. If you ask me, I'm giving these two gold. It's been fantastic. Let's go insert coin, says Sammy in the chat. Insert coin. Well, I don't even think we've mentioned him in this race at the moment. He's up to 7th. 7th. He's running really quietly at the moment. Just going about his business.
I can't see any scrapes on his car, so he looks like he's surviving well. In the Honda, or as we're in America, it'd be Acura.
No, it's the Honda. Will always be the Honda. Jamal Cloudon's 2/10 off the back of Tobias Hoffer, really pushing him out the last corner. It is on American soil. I believe this is in California, and it's only 11 degrees.
But it has also just gone 7 in the morning.
It's just gone 7, according to Dan's stream, which I've got on my phone. It is 7:15 in the morning. And it's 11 degrees. The track's finally optimum. Gary's on the back of King in the background. This is the battle between Hoffer and Cloudon then, coming through turn 4. Down towards the bottom of the hill. Good time to remind you of what's coming next week. GT4's return to the circuit on Tuesday night, the start of a triple header at the Hungaroring, where the weather looks brilliantly mixed at the moment. Before we head to Pro-Am, that'll be brought to you by Dan Davis in the commentary box on Tuesday night. Pro-Am will be brought to you by myself and Dan Davis on Wednesday night at the Hungaroring, and myself and Phil will be back next Thursday for the pros around Hungaroring as well. The last time we was there, what car famously won around the Hungaroring? Just after this, no, Cloudon tucks back in behind. What car famously won, PN, last time at the Hungaroring?
Was it Louis Allen in the Honda?
It was the Rettier of Dan Davis.
Did Louis won a race there in the Honda as well, did he?
He did. Final race of the season. Cloudon's going to go around the outside of Tobias Hoffer. Who gets the better exit? I think Cloudon may have just got the better exit. The King is there as well. He should have painted his car light blue. He's missed a trick there. But
and he's sponsored by Dynaco, yeah?
yeah, exactly. King just taps Hoffer wide, does the King. And that is going to allow Gary Leach to not thank your mama for the carrots. But he's turned the carrots over in the field, ready for a fresh watering. By that, I mean he's spun King around. God, jot these down. You need to jot these down, Petey. Write a book. Fuchs gaining on the rear of Ben once again.
Write very well, Matt. So don't expect me to write anything yet.
Jay, if you're watching, clip it. Clip these Duffinisms, or whatever you want to call them.
Duffinisms,
yeah.
Duffinisms. That's when you come out with about Apex then, and Racing Unleashed.
So Cloudon's got past Tobias Hoffer. Gary Leach trying to follow through. Dennis Newman's on the back of him. He was, and Harris has got through. So good job, Michael Harris. Joe has caught up to this fight. He's took Mike with him as well. King's now in no man's land. He's took Mike with him. Just over 10 minutes left till the pit. In fact, 11 minutes left till the pit window opens, actually.
Quite a long way.
It is quite a long way. Here comes Joe. Sends it up the inside of Gray. Hugs the apex of the corner on the traction. Pushes Gray into the gravel.
And Mike got past as well.
Yeah. Mike got past as well. Great to see. Overtaker, fastest lap of the race again, but still outside a second of Joe. Paul Williams, love a trip around the Hungaroring, but not a circuit that is raced enough. I agree with you there. And we do need more likes, Tracy. Indeed we do. Hit that thumbs up button, the bell to be notified when we go live. And please hit that subscribe button, because you guys in the chat are absolutely brilliant. Over 716 subscribers before tonight's stream. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to put on this show. So thank you all so much for allowing us to do this. Fuchs has dropped off the back of Ben, and Ben's gained on Sky Schundelmeyer. So Sky, since getting up to P6, hasn't had that pace to gain on the top three at the moment, but is doing well to hold on to P4.
He's a P6 then for Sky. So, yeah, Eckholt. There's about a second and 1.3 seconds between Dan, Taker, and then another 1.3 to Eckholt. Then daylight between Sky.
Joe's gaining on Cruiser. Thought of ascend it. Mike's lurking in the background. Just peeking from the back of Joe's BMW every now and again to let everybody know he's still there.
Is he actually using Joe as the
I think Joe is the barge them out the way and let me follow through mush. And I'm not saying that Joe's barging anybody out the way, but Joe is an aggressive driver as Mike's dropped a wheel on the gravel. Joe's now looking to the outside of Cruiser. Still going to go around the outside. Cruiser gets it lit up on the rear. Here comes Joseph Bates. Round the outside he goes. And that was absolutely minty fresh. Who's adding to all this? Dennis Newman.
Dennis is in the wall.
Here comes Mike. Up the inside of Cruiser. Through he goes again. Anything Joe can do, Mike can do the same. I'm not going to say better.
As well.
Mike can do
sort of a second lap.
Yeah, exactly. Now Sky Schundelmeyer has got the McLaren of Ben and Fuchs gaining on the back of him. Here is Ben. GT4s, Paul, are going to be fantastic around the Hungaroring.
Yep.
They are going to be well worth the watch.
Especially those who are going to have ballast because it's championship order.
Sky's gone a little deep at turn 1. It's not going to hurt him on the exit though through Andretti hairpin. And Ben's gone to the outside now of turn 3. There is a yellow flag. I believe that is Cruiser who is off. Ben can smell Sky. Indeed he can. But he's also got Fuchs behind him.
Yep. Every time now I'm going to see that colours, I was going to think of McDonald's.
Oh, Tibbs drops the wheel! Tibbs drops the wheel! And had a huge moment, very slow now.
lost all momentum up the hill towards
Yeah, he did.
corkscrew.
Good job that Ben wasn't as close. Taker still nowhere. Here comes Sky and Ben and Fuchs.
If only it was the other camera that you could actually see him coming over the top of the hill and dropping down. Oh, Ben! I think Ben ran a little wide and touched the gravel. Insert coins.
I don't think it's going to hurt him too much, Oaks. He didn't have much of a wiggle, did he?
No.
But Fuchs is coming. Insert coins watching on in the background, yeah. Gary Leach still on the back of Tobias Hoffer. Newman's got in close to the back of Cruiser. Brought King with him. And where's Joe's progress? Up to Michael Harris, who's trying to gain on Gary, who's up the back of Tobias. They're nowhere near Clouden. Then comes Mitrovic Cannon. Mike's in front of Joe.
Yep.
That's Joe. So Joe's obviously had a moment somewhere. Let's go back to the Sky Schundelmeyer battle. They're both ahead of Ian Gray as well. So, interesting. Schundelmeyer with Ben right up behind him. McLaren from McLaren. Great little fight this is between the pair of these two.
Yeah.
Taker still got fast. Now, Pien, 11 degrees track temp. Do you change tyres in the pit window, which opens in about 6 minutes' time?
No. Probably not. Not at 11. The tyres should be... unless they're graining up, then you would.
The nature of these corners would probably make them grain more than what the temperature's doing itself. Ben's dropped off the back of Sky through the corkscrew, and Fuchs just drops a wheel onto the gravel himself.
And it is going. Taking a watching brief.
Coyne is getting closer. That Honda just emerging in the background. Just going to pop down to Gary Leach and Tobias Hoffer. That is Hoffer second. Joe's back within 7/10 of Mike Matthews. Michael Harris nearly within a second of Gary. King and Cruzier is actually dropped down to the back of the pack. He's struggling a little bit. King's on the back of Newman. Joe's got really close to Mike Matthews now. Eckholt's within a second of Overtaker. Let's just going to watch this with Joe and Mike Matthews. Joe with that damage to the front end of his car. With Mike's car being white, you can't really see much of the damage or the scrapes on his car. No. Joe a little deeper than Mike, able to bring it back in and swing around.
Dennis King for company.
Been an interesting race so far, but Dan Davis, you have to say, is the man in control.
He is, well, we'll see what happens in the pit stops, don't we?
At the minute as well, if you look at where Cruzier is, Cruzier's 17th round. Who's the 17? That's Richard Beasley in the wall.
Oh, he's probably dipped the wheel on the curb on the outside again, and it spits car towards the wall.
Oh my God, is Gary going to try for the move up the corkscrew? No, Beasley hangs on in there. Gary's going to look around the outside of the second part. They just bumped doors a little bit. Gary's now through. Harris is now through. And Joseph Bates has repassed Mike Matthews.
Week to forget for the FBR boys this week, isn't it?
Laguna's been a bit of a nightmare circuit. Overtaker's got Eckholt keeping him for company. Sky still got Ben and Fuchs there. Fuchs has been behind Ben for quite a lot of this race. And Dan at the moment just in no man's land. But he's not pulling away, PM, but he's in control of this race.
It is control, isn't it, now?
Yeah, that's a shame, Paul. Would have been great to have you on the grid. What GT4 car would you have driven? That's the question.
We still need someone on the grid in the KTM.
We've just got two Chevrolets in Hypertech and DJ Phil. This is on board Ben. Fuchs trying to catch onto the back of him.
Dan is off at the corkscrew. Stopped it.
It's like a...
Overtaker leads on Eckholt.
We're Sky in relation to Dan now.
Behind
pretty close. Yeah, not far away though. It was 10 seconds behind Eckholt, so it was about 12 seconds behind Dan.
Not in control now, is he?
Oh, Ben's had a moment at the final corner. Pulls that inside line.
Dennis is off again.
Fuchs comes down. Dennis Newman off the track. Not in control anymore. Spoke too soon.
Yeah, well, there's still 40 minutes to go. And now it's Overtaker's turn.
Yeah, and it's Overtaker's turn under pressure from Eckholt. But it is Fuchs who's on the back of Ben at the moment. Ben losing out to Sky Schundelmeyer. Ben just drops a wheel onto the gravel. Insert Coins definitely looming larger in the background.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if Overtaker can handle the pressure of Eckholt behind him. Someone else was round. Andretti, I can't see the number.
21 and 17 had the yellow flag. So that is Tobias Hoffer and Richard Beasley. And Harris and Gary and Joe and Mike have all got past the pair of them. Ginetta or the Merc. Well, it's a shame because the Mercedes is only 4 wins away from being the first manufacturer to get it to 100 wins here at SimPlay Motorsport. But Overtaker's under a bit of pressure now from Eckholt. That gap's just under 0.4 of a second now, PM.
It is Eckholt time.
Oh, and also, Bates has got past Harris. So Joe's now up to 11th, even with that damage. He's not far from the back of Gary Leach.
No, he isn't. He's probably quite good lap times for him.
Pit window opens in just over a minute. And Eckholt.
First apart.
Well, I think now possibly Dan.
Yeah. Plus, he's probably turned them tyres into 50p's, so it'll be vibrating a little bit.
Sky's come back into this now. 1.4 off the back of Dan and has pulled away from Ben. Fuchs is there. Insert Coin still getting bigger in his mirrors. Gary's got Joe Bates for company. And he's not much longer because Joe's going to swing it up the inside. Side by side go the two veterans of SimPlay Motorsport. I think Gary's going to come out on top. He is, but Joe tries to get the switch back. You've got to wake up earlier in the morning to beat Gary 131 up the inside like that.
As Eckholt is sniffing the other McLaren's exhaust fumes right now.
Yeah, Fuchs was within 1/10 of Ben. That's dropped back a little bit more, but like you say, Eckholt close to the back of Overtaker. Going to drop back down to Gary Leach, Joseph Bates, Michael Harris fight. Mike Matthews has dropped off the back of Harris a little bit. Oh, Harris going to have a look on Joe through the corkscrew, having a look up the inside. I don't think he's got the run. No, he has not. But he had a sniff there, did Michael Harris. Had a look, pit window open. So this now interesting. Leaders have already gone through. Gary straight in. Tobias straight in. Now I like that strategy from Gary. I really like that. I think as that opens, Phil, that's... Yeah, I like that from Gary.
Meanwhile, Taker has got so much pressure from Eckholt.
Off a second, though. Dan's 7.6 behind, so whatever happened to Dan through the corkscrew, he had a huge off.
Well, to lose that amount of time, he was facing the wrong way when I put the camera. Eckholt's in.
Right, so Michael Eckholt pulling the trigger over Undertaker, looking for that undercut then. Will Dan Davis follow him in? No, he's going to stay out. So does Sky Schundelmeyer. Ben's lost out to Sky at the moment. Him and Fuchs stay out. Insert Coins within 1.2 seconds now.
Yeah, there's Mitchell Buchanan.
He's been on his own. He's had a quiet one as well, hasn't he, Mitchell Buchanan?
Yes. No, he stays out. How about Clouden? Clouden stays out with the damage he's got. Now Joe. Joe is very loose, but that's Joe's.
I'll be surprised to not see Joe in. All right, Joe's not coming in. Neither does Mike. Neither does Harris.
Beasley,
what about Beasley? Yeah, Beasley's just gone wide. He stays out as well. Ian Gray, nothing. So just King, Cruiser, and Newman. We're going to go back to that fight. No, the fight is no longer at the lead, is it? Because Michael Eckholt is now away. Where's Gary Leach? Nowhere in sight. The number one's off. He's backwards. Dan Davis backwards again. And has lost out to Sky and Ben and Fuchs and Insert Coin, but not Mitra Buchanan.
Or Tobias Hoffer.
Hoffer's a lap down on Dan after being in the pits. Gary's made a mistake at the corkscrew. Yeah, I've just seen that as we're on board Dan Davis. 2 mistakes for Dan. Do not hesitate to think Dan will come into the pits this lap, because I reckon he's straight in. Possibly a change of tyres. In comes Ben, in comes Fuchs. Insert coin stays out on track. I reckon Dan's coming into the pits. He's gone wide there, looking straight in.
Straight in, and
now, was that now?
He was off track, wasn't he?
Is that technically a pit entry cut? You are technically off the road, so yeah. I don't think so. But the yellow line dictates the line. It's a solid line. Joe comes in. Mike's under pressure from Michael Harris at the moment. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Here we go. Coin. He's had a quiet race, really, haven't he? Close to back of Fuchs and Sky and Ben. Yeah, as Echo crossed the line. He's jumped Ben, he's jumped Fuchs, he's dead. Oh, Ben's got
140 car 30 seconds stop go penalty. So it is Eckholt who is leading this one, but Mike's still under pressure from Harris. The two Michaels.
Fuchs stopped the pit exit a little bit wrong, but he's returned to where he left it.
Joe Bates, this is a long stop for Joe.
Yeah, they're hammering out the dents and the beamer.
This is the closest fight on the circuit between these two. Dan, where did Dan come out? Behind Dennis Newman, 1.2 off the back. Harris has just gone a little wide there.
Taker's nearly a lap in front of Dan. But Overtaker's still got a pit.
You do lose 60-odd% of the lap, though, for that pit stop, so Taker's still got a pit. Mitra Buchanan's just come in, and these two carry on their way, so with no other option. Dan's had another moment just touching the grass there, so what is going on Dan's car? Let's load the stream up and just find out. Because on Dan's end at the moment...
Right, if I was Taker, I'd pit now.
Dan's also got a track cut to his name at the minute.
Probably corkscrew.
Oh, that's Dennis Newman, who I'm surprised has not pitted. That damage looks horrific at the moment.
Taker's going to be at the back of these, and these guys will be in the way, because it's not easy to overtake around here. Even to that. Ben's in for his stop go. Straight away. Mitch Buchanan's finished his stop and excellent pits. Tibbs is in. I mean Sky Schundelmeier. So yeah,
we're watching Dan struggle to get past Newman, who just drops a wheel on the gravel a little bit there. Dan to the outside of Newman. Newman's not pitted and has got massive front end damage. This is hurting Dan in this race.
And you've got the race leader behind him as well. Mike's in. So is that Sky. 24. Now Dennis Newman are going to get blue flags, and he's let Overtaker through.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Eckholt has got Gray in front of him, and it's a
again
position.
Not pitted. Yeah. So the traffic. We said this last night, Pian. The traffic is what plays a part around Laguna Seca, and it is playing a part here. Mike has come in. Dennis Newman still did not pit.
No.
And Eckholt's got ahead of Gray. So Eckholt is ahead of Gray.
Because he's our highest pit stopper. Cloudon's in.
Cloudon is in.
Beasley hasn't done his stop yet. Either. He's wide again. That Ferrari does not look happy now, this phase of the race.
We're watching Eckel, who's cleared Gray by some margin. Gray's into the pits. Mitchell Buchanan's now on the back of Dennis Newman at the moment.
We're at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
And there's the halfway mark. Tony's just said, Dan can't blame me, he hasn't been watching.
Yeah, well, there we go then.
Does take a pit this time round. He does. Overtaker's pitting now.
Got to come in. You've got to come
Dennis
in.
stays out.
If you're overtaking, you've got to come in now, clear some of that traffic, Pien. But Mitchell Buchanan still stationary on the back here of Dennis Newman, who is still not pitted and still has a lot of damage to his front at the front end of that BMW. And if you're that Dennis Newman, you'd surely want to go the rest of the race with a cleaner car. The question is, as well, I suppose, is where will overtaker pan out? Insert Coin takes the lead of this race. Harry's still yet to pit, as is Beasley, as is Cruiser, as is Newman. Gray's on his way out the pits now. Tobias Hoffer will get through. Joe Bates might not get Ian Gray, but Joe Bates has a clean car, and we know how quick Joe was with a damaged car. Mitchell Buchanan, though, still behind Dennis Newman, who's defending every inch of this track over Mitchell Buchanan. Yet Newman's got a pit. I feel like they're both just wasting a bit of time fighting each other.
Right, Taker is going to be off the limit.
This is going to be closer than we think. I think Eckholt's got the jump. I think Eckholt's got the jump. I think Taker's left it too late.
And he was starting to get held up by the traffic as well.
Eckholt is ahead of Overtaker. I think Michael Eckholt, undercutting there, has pulled the strategy out of the hat.
There's a good couple of seconds, isn't it?
Sky Schundelmeyer still ahead of Dan Davis, as is Fuchs. Ben dropped down the order, obviously, due to that stop go. So Dan's got 3.9 to catch him. Newman now in.
Newman now in.
And Mitchell Buchanan stationary.
Where is he on track?
Penultimate corner. Insert Coin. Race leader comes in.
He is stationary. Has he run out of fuel?
Is that a wheel problem? Yeah. It's a strange place to pull over.
Say this was real racing with a yellow flag now, and then see if they move, and then it didn't move, and you throw full course yellow, don't you?
So Mitchell Buchanan then 4/10 off the back, or was 4/10 off the back of Dennis Newman, but Dennis Newman in the pits. Mitchell Buchanan yet to do anything. Joe's already on the back of Ian Gray. This is the closest fight at the moment.
I'll keep an eye on Mitchell Buchanan and see if he moves.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the Discord as well.
Is that wheel issue? Because the car's clean.
That's got to be a wheel issue or out of fuel, surely.
If it's out of fuel, the first thing you do is hit return to pits, wouldn't you? So FBR are 1-2 at this phase in the race, but both have got a pit.
Yeah. Now, Overtaker's 1.6 behind Eckel, who pulled a blinder. Dan's 3.2 behind Fuchs. Where did Insert Coin come out? He's there. He's just coming out the pits. Fuchs gets through. That's as it was. And Insert Coin's ahead of Dan Davis. So now Insert Coin's got to try and chase down Fuchs once again.
Yeah, just quickly drop down to Mitch Buchanan again. He's returned to pits.
He's returned to pits. I think that's an issue with hardware.
Yeah, it's either hardware or fuel.
Fuel, I reckon he'd have pitted a long time earlier, like you've just said.
Yeah. Beasley is in.
Insert Coin 9/10 off the back of Fuchs. Bit of quiet one. Bit of quiet one this second race.
It has, yeah. And Eckholt now takes the lead of this race by pulling a blinder of an undercut.
And don't forget, if you want to catch more of the SimPlay action here, Tuesday night GT4's brought to you at 8 PM GMT +1 by Dan Davis. That'll be at the Hungaroring, as will Pro-Am by myself and Dan Davis. 8 PM GMT +1 Wednesday night. And myself and Phil will be back a week today on Thursday for the pros. All at the Hungaroring. The weather's looking pretty interesting there at the moment. We know Saba's had to pull out due to storms.
I just contact my other driver I have in the endurance, because he's also Hungarian.
Richard Beasley's just put drive-through in the chat.
How's
I
the
think he
Beasley
feels
got
like he's sped just a little bit.
Oh, but I think FBR would be glad to see the back of the Hungarian, Laguna Seca, wouldn't they?
I agree. Gary's moved
Even
up to...
though I like the circuit. I like Laguna. Yeah,
It's
he
not a
has got
drive-through, it's a stop-go. Gary Leach is on the back of Mike Matthews. These two are going to be in the same party as each other.
Overtake, I don't know, but it could have been that camera angle, because, you know, Eckholt braking first and then take the braking.
We're currently watching the Gary Leach Mike Matthews fight.
It's less than a second for the lead. Yeah, I think Mitch Buchanan is hardware issue. I think that's wheel failure. But we'll find out later. Mike, well, since Mike's pirouette with Fury near the race start, he's not Gary for close company. Hoffer is a bit. Fury's off. He's again. Yeah, he's got it in the gear and going forward. Race leader's gone past. Now his overtaker. Fury's lost another position to Cruiser, or however you say his name.
I've gone with Cruiser. Yeah, Mike's just pulled away from Gary Leach. Insert coins outside. A little bit of time to Fuchs, and Dan's dropped right back. We've gone from saying Dan was in control to Dan's made 3 mistakes.
Yep.
And don't forget, actually,
Tibbs is off.
Fair point. Don't forget the British GT Championship at FBR, in which SimPlay Motorsport drivers are welcome to join. Obviously, they brought drivers to us as Fuchs gets past Sky Schundelmeyer. Starts on Sunday. Oh, Sky's got bad damage. Bad damage.
He lost it on the uphill part towards Corkscrew. Dan's gone off.
Dan's off again. It's like a stale Cornish pasty, isn't it?
Tibbs is pitting.
Sky's in the pit. Yep, Sky's in. So Fuchs back on the podium. Insert coins up to 4th. Harris and Clouden have got past Dan. So is Mike and Gary Leach. So Dan losing points to his championship rivals that he gained over them in race 1 here, PN.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope that Eckholt can hold off Overtaker for the next 22 minutes.
I don't think Overtaker's Dan's worries. It is more Harris and Clouden and what they can do. Well, they're all going to gain a place over Sky Schundelmeyer. But you have to feel that is 4 mistakes from Dan Davis today.
It is. It's unheard of.
Yeah. Bonkers. Mike Matthews has got Gary Leach and Dan Davis for company now. These 3 are all in a party together.
Yep.
And Gary and Dan have had some fantastic races in the past. They are not going to want to give an inch.
No. Take us looking at the back end of Eckholt's McLaren. Very, very evenly matched, these two, Eckholt and Taker. Insert coin putting a lap in on Dennis Newman. Dennis Newman with damage on his car again. Did he not repair it? Question mark.
Not quite sure. Depends. Is the bonnet flapping around as Gary's looking up the inside of the corkscrew on Mike Matthews. This is going to be brave. Gary's on the gravel. He's on the other gravel. Is it going to be the safest rejoin? It's not worked out for Gary Leach at all.
No, the rallycross line didn't work with the corkscrew.
Well, now the team orders come into play with 21 minutes left. Mike's got a bit of front end damage on his car.
Well, that could have been earlier in the race, and
no, that looks like it's different to the start of the race. Bonnet looks a little lifted to me.
Yeah, as I keep an eye on Discord as well, see if Mitchell Buchanan.
Mitchell Buchanan's just posted a video of his wheelbase, so I assume that is gone.
Yeah. Oh, we've lost another driver, and it's not Mitchell Buchanan. Who is it? Overtaker's lost a huge amount of time to Eckholt.
I thought you said Overtaker's gone then. Sky's 15th.
Clouden's had a wiggle. Mike's there,
I'm
Dan's there,
struggling to
Gary's there.
Gary, Tobias, Ian, Ben, Joe, King. The Lamborghini. The Lamborghini of
Yeah.
Cruiser. Now that one, as far as we're aware, will be a retirement. And here's Dan Davis trying to somehow hunt down his teammate. But Mike has gapped Dan just a little bit in this one.
Yep, as will there be team orders in SimPlay Racing?
Doesn't seem to be at the minute. Ben's got Gray for company. That's 0.3 of a second.
As Joe is sitting behind Overtaker, his former teammate. Joe's car looks very, very, very loose. I don't want a car that loose. There's someone
Dennis Newman did not repair
rally.
damage. I can just confirm that after checking him out. Dan's lost more time to Mike. Gary's gained time over Dan. Insert coins lost time to Fuchs. Overtaker, I think, might be settling for second place in this one. Ben's lost time to Gray. And Dan now back on the rear of Mike Matthews all of a sudden here.
So yeah, a valid reason for Mitchell Buchanan's retirement, his wheelbase has died. As hardware failure. It's probably overheated, hasn't it?
More than likely so. Although, looked like it was a Fanatec direct drive, so possibly not. Ben's back within 0.4 of Gray. Mike's gaining on Clouden slightly here.
Clouden did have a little sideways moment.
There we go then, that's probably why. Fuchs is being caught by insert coin. That's down to 0.7, possibly even a little bit closer. Honda on the podium at Laguna. Why not? Treat yourself, boys. Yeah, that gap's down to 0.6, down on the back of Mike. The thing is Mike's got to be careful with if and where he does this, because
Gary's there.
Gary's within 0.8. Well, he's not now. It's within 1.5 seconds now to Mike. Sky was doing good, Tracy. It is a shame. It is a shame. Still 17 minutes left in this race. There's still a long way to go. A lot of laps left in it.
There is. They're doing 1 minute 23s, 24s. As Clouden takes fastest lap off Overtaker.
Yes, a scratch out about Mike's possibly going to be catching him.
No, Clouden's now going to disappear up the road. We're setting fastest lap. Coin is all over the back of Fuchs. All over him.
Yeah, and it's that and the Dan Davis, Mike Matthews inter-team battle that's the closest ones on track.
Teammate, for the golden rule of the team, don't hit your teammate. Isn't that right, Seb and Mark? Ayrton and Alan.
I'll say it before anybody else does. Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden. There we go.
Yeah. Golden rule of motorsport, don't take your teammate out.
Oh, Fuchs just drops away all over the curb there. And again.
And again.
So this could allow insert coin to just get that little bit closer, PN.
Yeah.
Sky's on the back of King. In fact, Fuchs is wide. Insert coin's having a look up the inside. They're side by side going up the hill. He's backed out of that one. King's got Schundelmeyer all over the back of him, so Sky will be past him there soon, you imagine. Dan's right up the chuff of Mike Matthews. And Fuchs just had a couple of corners there where it was a little sketchy for that Ferrari.
Little scrappy, wasn't it?
Gary has dropped right off the back of these two, by the way.
Yeah. He's probably waiting for them to take each other out. Oh, coin's wide. He's tried all
Mike's
the track and
not
more.
helping his teammate out in this one, is he?
No. We're due still too early in the season. We're only just past the halfway point. There's still loads of rounds left. And meanwhile, the battle between Fuchs and Coin carry on. It's one of the closest battles other than the inter-team battle. And Schundelmeyer is now in front of King. So
Schundelmeyer is in front of King indeed.
5 seconds behind Joe.
And Insert Coin is still as close as ever.
Got to try get the undercut. Does the Honda have the horsepower up the hill? Now they begin the climb for the corkscrew, one of the most famous corners in motor racing. And I've seen Alex Zanardi do a wonderful pass here back in '98 when IndyCar used to be on a hell of a lot more.
10th in it. Back down to... Oh, Dan's got Mike. And Dan's cleared Mike a little bit. So...
Yeah, and Taker's now within 2 seconds of Echo.
But Insert Coin is pushing pretty much Fuchs around the final corner. Literally pushing him around the final corner here. Still 14 minutes left. This race just feels like it's gone on for an eternity at the moment.
Are we sure we're not back in Imola? And being in a...
There's been that much happen. And it has just quietened down, hasn't it, at this back end of the race?
Yeah, apart from you've got Fuchs and Coin.
Yeah.
Taker's slowly winding in Echo. Fury's just got the fastest lap of the race.
Fair play, Fury. Fastest,
So
faster car now he's repaired. Bit between his teeth to catch Ian Gray. He's got time to catch him and possibly Ben as well.
He has.
Ben will be trying to get Tobias Hoffer to get inside the top 10. Ben was running really well. He was in this fight here, was Ben. Before that stop-go penalty. And is this now Insert Coin's chance to have a look up the inside? No. Can't do it there.
No. Taker's now within half a second of Echo.
Yeah, so Eccles had a problem somewhere. He's not off a second. He's just had a look around the outside line as Taker. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on this Insert Coin battle. Because for me, Pian, I know you said earlier that the Honda's good around these circuits, with it being the Intercontinental DLC pack. Back in the PS4 days, the Honda was the better car at these tracks. Or was one of the more favoured cars at these tracks. But PS5 days, it's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, depends how often they update the BOP for said car as well. Because some of the cars get no love anymore.
Newman's back in. That damage probably too much for him.
Oh, a little wiggle by Overtaker.
Yeah, just watching this Insert Coin fight still. Sky had a moment on his own, Senna. Got a lot of damage to the car, had to re-pit. And Joe's now within 0.6 of a second of Ian Gray, so that 2 seconds, he's closed down quite quickly. And in fact, he's having a look here on Ian Gray. He's going to pull that inside line. Is he going to look up the inside? Gray thinks better of it and gives Joe the room. And Joe's up the inside. And that was as cool as a cucumber. Insert Coin still on the back of Fuchs at the moment. And Overtaker still there with Eckel. PN now in this last 11 3/4 minutes. We're starting to get the race develop now.
Yeah, it's about cooked. It's now sort of like, it's now hardening the crackling. If it was a roast pork. Crackling. No, I can't have any of that now because that's fat.
Insert Coin just cannot get past Fuchs at the moment. That's Dennis Newman leaving the pits.
Oh,
Newman straight out the way. Doesn't want to be involved in this.
I wouldn't want to be either.
Coin gains in the final sector, loses in the first, gains in the middle and final. But that gap Fuchs just pulls out is just enough. What's happening with Taker? Still half a second.
But Eckhart is pushing. He's clipping up the dirt a little bit.
Just starting to look a little loosey-goosey. Here comes Taker. He's not going to have a look there. What about Fuchs? This is where Insert Coin really gains. Watch this through the corkscrew at the moment. Fuchs just drops down to it. And this is where the Honda might just be that little bit stronger. Look, just straddles the curbs a little better than the Ferrari. And Insert Coin on the back of Fuchs again.
The Ferrari's just stronger in a straight line by the look of things, isn't it?
Yeah, which is
Just
pretty much
more...
Sector 1. Your more top speed is Sector 1, isn't it?
Yeah, and Hungaroring, well, there's only one real straight.
Again though, Sector 1. Sector 1. Ben is chasing Tobias again. So let's see what will happen. Chasing him down like at Kota, I think is what Chris means there. And at the moment, Tobias from Ben, it's going great guns at the minute.
Oh, Fury's round and facing the wrong way.
Oh no, Sir Joe's done the hard work getting past Gray. Sky's also got past him. King's also had a moment, yeah. Just gone on to King as he's just been lapped by Fuchs and insert Coin. Oh, Fuchs is round on his own.
Yep, Fuchs has lost the rear end and Coin's on the podium.
Coin is on the podium in the Honda. Schundelmeyer within 8/10 of Gray. Ben within half a second of Tobias. This now the closest fight on circuit at the moment. Ben to the outside. Is he going to try and turn it in and tuck underneath? Oh, thought there we had a look at it. Coin's now had a spin.
The corkscrew.
And Fuchs has gone past.
Yeah.
Oh, Coin's got damage.
He's hit the wall.
Now Ben's fighting Tobias for 10th. The leaders are gaining to put a lap on them.
Who's going to be on the podium for this race? It's
not a clue.
Well, 8.5 minutes to go. Anything can still happen, and usually does.
Oh, Ben nearly a wiggle. Right in front of the leaders nearly as well. This the closest fight on track.
About a second between Bev. Got to pay attention, Bev. Will be getting blue flags within a couple of corners. If Eckholt gets closer. Eckholt will be hoping they see the blue flags and get out of the way. Because he's not taking
in the Discord, the internet has gone down for the other driver we've lost. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. So that's 3 drivers all with problems. And well, that'll at least be no qualifying bans.
No, because they're either forces of nature or
mechanical
hardware failure.
Now Ben's got past Tobias Hoffer just in time. And Tobias, doesn't want a part of that. Straight out of the way. I assume Ben will pull over in a moment.
Yeah, he's got the race leaders bearing down on them.
Sky 14 seconds behind. He's got to go some to get on the back of Tobias Hoffer here, hasn't he?
He has. He's just got to push like crazy.
Yeah. Overtake has now just gone back over a second to Michael Eckholt.
And Eckholt will be the first person to come across the traffic. But once he's past Ben, the next person is Gary, and Gary's a few corners away. Race to forget, but Joe, again, he's got the pace.
Mitra Cannon's just looked it up, he says in Discord. His wheelbase might have gone completely. So that could be a repair to Fanatec. While you are here, though, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. As we come up to 750 subscribers, hit the bell to be notified when we go live and hit that thumbs up button as well. Back live Tuesday night with Dan Davis bringing you the GT4s. Myself and Dan GT3s on Wednesday, and myself and Phil back next Thursday for GT3s in Pro. No real fights on the circuit, PM.
No, it's gone a bit quiet, hasn't it? So, chat, thoughts on Laguna Seca?
Talk about this week. Well, thoughts on Laguna Seca, thoughts on this week's worth of racing if you've been a part of it or, been a viewer.